I ran an extreme stress test for 20 minutes straight and actually, yeah, you'll notice that Xiaomi not just starts at a higher score because its graphics are better, but also that this score falls slower over the course of the test. It has a higher stability of 80.8% as opposed to 65.8, which basically means that whatever gobbledygook they've actually called this internal cooling system, it does work when you push both phones to their limits. This does feel hotter on the outside, but that's because the cooling system is doing a better job of getting heat out the inside, and internal heat is generally where more of the problems occur, which makes overall performance about a draw depending on what specifically you're trying to do on your phone. Time to see what this phone was made for cameras, because I mean, you don't have to look at the specs for long to see that on paper Xiaomi absolutely murders the iPhone, which talking a 32 megapixel selfie camera for 50 megapixel cameras on the rear, yes, 4 with all 4 having high-end sensors and the main camera having the largest sensor currently available on a phone. This is why the crowd basically erupted when the price of this phone was announced. We've never seen a phone camera like this, but before we get to the rear cameras, which to be honest actually do deliver on that type, we need to talk about the front camera, because it does not, it just looks so washed out. I actually look a bit like a ghost, and it's a far cry from what phones like the Google Pixel have done with their super deep natural skin tones. And while this is somewhat rescued by the powerful image processing when you're snapping photos, honestly the video is pretty trash. I mean, look at this room over here. It's just a white look, plus it's limited to 1080p, which I just don't understand. Like, genuinely, if there's anyone that's showing me watching this video, please tell me why this phone, your 2023 pinnacle flagship ultra phone, cannot record 4K on its front camera. It's not a tech limitation. Phone's been able to do this for years now. Surely it's not a cost concern. They've kitted out every single other camera on the phone all the way to 8K, and it can't be anything to do with the size of the cameras either, because Samsung does 4K just fine with one that actually takes up less space. The only thing I can think is, like, maybe people feel like 4K might overrepresent skin imperfections, but honestly, how your skin looks is much more down to the software processing than it is the resolution. You can have sharp footage that also makes you look good, like the Samsung that I'm recording this on. It might seem like a small nitpicky thing, but honestly, in an age where everyone is creating content using their smartphones, especially this front-facing camera, I don't think it is. This front camera has probably been the single thing that has actually stopped me from jumping ship all the way from the iPhone, because I'm very tempted, and to understand why I've been so tempted, let's talk about the rear cameras, and really the best way to showcase just how great these rear cameras are is not to bind you with a flurry of hundreds of shots taken from it. I mean, every flagship from the last 5 years has been able to take photos like this. It's showing you how easy it makes it to do that. The key thing that I would say Xiaomi have just mastered with this phone is the thoughtlessness, everything about the way this camera system works. The fact that each individual lens is super high quality, and so you can zoom all the way in and all the way out without worrying about degradation. The fact that focusing is first class, so you don't need to sit there messing with it or even tapping your screen to pick out your subject. The fact that colors are Really pleasing, I hesitate to say that. The colors are accurate because, to be honest, if you're going for raw accuracy, I still think the iPhone does do a better job, but for me personally, what the Xiaomi does do is better than that. I think if you point blank ask someone, would you rather your photos are realistic or not, the vast majority of people would say I want realism. We don't like the idea that images are being tampered with, and I'm the same. I like the concept, but the truth is every smartphone is doing thousands of calculations and adjustments to each photo you take anyways, and when it actually comes down to it and you show someone what technical accuracy actually looks like side by side with what the Xiaomi does, which I would say is stylistically prettier, I have a strong feeling that most people would rather actually have Xiaomi's photo. It delivers not necessarily exactly what your eyes see, but more what your eyes think a great photo should look like, and so it makes you feel good. It makes you excited to use it, to see what other beautiful cinematic artsy shots you can take, while also for one of the first times matching the reliability of the more functional tool iPhone camera. Now it does also have a variable aperture on its main camera, which allows it to switch between a wide f1.9 and a really narrow f4.0, but I just think it's kind of dumb for this phone. I mean, the three main challenges that we spent the entire last decade trying to overcome with smartphone cameras are getting more light into these smaller sensors, shooting shots faster and creating more background blur to mimic the cinematic style of professional cameras. Switching your aperture to f4.0 basically shuts off your light into each shoot shot slower and reduces background blur. I mean, there's a couple of super niche situations where you might want this, like long exposure photography, but come on when your front camera looks like this. Fix that first anyways, whereas actually even more impressed by this phone was its night mode. Let's be very clear, the iPhone is good at night, but the Xiaomi 13 Ultra feels not like it's kind of close, could go either way. Genuinely, like there is no competition. Like this is a photo from both phones' main cameras. You can see so many little parts where the 13 Ultra is just picking up a little bit more information or is a little bit sharper, but where you notice the difference even more is flicking to the ultra-wide camera's kashami is both wider while also being more detailed. I was expecting Xiaomi to also steamroll when it came to the zoom shots, since Apple's zoom camera is just not equipped for the dark, so it uses its main camera and just digital zooms in. I mean, to be fair, so long as there are lights around, the Xiaomi does tend to win, but it's just when you go to those super dark scenarios that Apple's artificial intelligence algorithm does seem to just creep out ahead a little bit, and Xiaomi freaks out. But the video really impressed me. I wouldn't go as far as to say that this has better video than the iPhone, but it's not really worse. The sharpness, the stability, the dynamic range, this feels like a big thing to say, but for all the time that I've used this, it hasn't felt like a compromised video experience, which is one of those things that I've just come to expect when using an Android phone. It's still a little bit grainier in super low light, but then on the other hand, you can film 8K video at 5 times magnification. Yeah, it's only 24 FPS, so it's a little jittery or cinematic, but that's not normal on a phone, so Xiaomi definitely wins in more categories than the iPhone. It doesn't outright mean it's a better phone for everyone. Like, to me, the front camera is particularly important, and I can't work with this, but it is enough for me to say that if you like the sound of it, I can very easily recommend it when it launches in your country. Okay, this will be cool. Actually, try filming this on the zoom camera of the phone. So recently, I've gone into a bit of a rabbit hole when it comes to securing my accounts. I've been seeing how even YouTubers who followed all the recommended steps, they've still managed to get hacked. It's scary, and it's made me realize that there are entire forums out there on the dark web whose entire purpose is basically just for people to buy and sell user data, your addresses, your passwords, and sometimes they don't even need your passwords. A hacker can just send you a link via email, and if you so much just click on that link, can download a file that gives them access to your session ID, which effectively just means they can start browsing the internet already logged in as if they were you. So using Surfshark, and it's not a one-click solution that instantly solves all internet security problems, but it does make it a lot harder for bad actors like this to mess with you. It serves as basically a middleman to receive your internet traffic and scramble it to keep you anonymous to whoever's hosting the network. Plus, it comes with a proper antivirus, a private ad-free internet search, and Surfshark alert, which will let you know if your data has been compromised. It's a very simple, quite inexpensive way to strengthen your security using the code BOSS. It ends up as less than $3 a month, with an extra 3 months for free for unlimited accounts and a money-back guarantee. Thank you for watching video. Please subscribe for watch more new videos. Bye.